Hi friend, and welcome to part 3 of our 3-part Against the Grain Going Gluten-Free series. I'm Dr. Melissa, and I'm glad to have you back for this final episode because in this class, you're about to really learn your implementation plan so that you can continue to consistently and confidently identify gluten, reduce it, remove it, and ultimately replace it with gluten-free items so that you can truly optimize your health. So where we've gone so far, okay, the question we've been asking throughout this course is what is gluten and how do I really eliminate it? How do I go gluten-free? Well, step 1, you've already been practicing. That's awareness, right? You've become aware of the foods it's in. You've been looking at labels, which is step 2. You're beginning to notice things like barley and wheat and rye and oat. You're understanding where it's at. You're understanding the products it's in, how often you're using them or consuming them or interfacing with them, because that's all the necessary parts to become aware of, here it is, how do I reduce it? How do I reduce my frequency? How do I reduce my use? How do I get to the point where I can safely remove it? And then we're going to move into replacing. So when we think about replacing gluten, the wheat, the barley, the rye, the oat, well, it seems like as you start to read labels, tell me if you've experienced it, that gluten's in everything, right? So when gluten is in everything, well, then what's the next question, the next feeling that you're wrestling with? What can I eat? What can I eat? I get it. I've been there. You're not alone. You and 75 million other people have been asking that same question. Well, like I said, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's amazing foods out there just waiting for you to enjoy. Tons of great gluten-free alternatives. So let me help to really bring some excitement and inspiration back to the forefront of your brain, because there are a tremendous amount of gluten-free food. So things like dairy and beans and fish and meats and poultry and fruits and veggies. And there are a lot of gluten-free grains. Gluten-free grains are going to be things like millet and rice and corn and buckwheat, potato-based breads, quinoa, corn. The things you need to avoid are just the wheat, the barley, the rye, the cross-contaminated oats. So look at this. I love this picture. Man, this is your gluten-free guide. There's all these different types of beans, all these different types of, there's cornmeal, there's quinoa flakes. Of course, there's all these different types of rice and all these different types of beans. These are all gluten-free grains. There are things like coconut flour and almond flour. There's potato starch, there's tapioca. There's so much available to you. So when you begin to think about what is there to eat, there's so many gluten-free options that I promise you, you will not be short of inspiration and ideas and delicious tasting food. Does it take a slight retweaking of the brain? Yes, that's where the awareness part is so crucial. It's about understanding where you've been most commonly getting it and immediately looking and saying, what's a gluten-free option that I can begin to replace this? So when you understand that there are a lot of gluten-free grains, there are a lot of gluten-free alternatives, well, now it makes it a lot easier to start to think about how you want to replace. So, again, as we continue to explore it, we've got to look at your pantry. We've got to look at your kitchen. We've got to look at your day-to-day, because I'm going to tell you, if you think you're going to just run into the gas station and grab a gluten-free option really quickly, some gas stations you might be able to grab some fruit, sure. But most of the time, it's packaged foods. If you're just always eating on the run and you're not planning, it's still going to remain a challenge. You're going to feel really limited. Okay, so I want you to plan ahead. I want you to look at your home. I want you to just take a few minutes and invest it in your health. So let's have a pantry makeover, okay? And let's again remove. So first you identify the gluten foods. Now, don't worry if you just went shopping and bought hundreds of dollars worth of gluten stuff. I'm not going to tell you to throw it away. So begin to eat it, get rid of it, and don't replace it with more gluten. Replace it with a gluten-free alternative. Remove it, replace it, restock with all sorts of yummy gluten-free options. And again, I've shown you some of those ideas, your fish, your poultry, your fruits, your veggies. Now, if you want some of those prepackaged options, again, tons of gluten-free goodies. There's things from Udi's. So if you want cookies and you want muffins and you want bagels and you want cereals, you can still get that stuff. You can just get it minus the gluten. It just takes a little bit of looking around. And I think one of my favorite grocery stores to send you to, believe it or not, is Kroger, because Kroger has it all kind of in one nice, neat little section, so you don't get too overwhelmed. And I think it's a really good place to start when you're just looking for those easy brands. And Kroger usually has some great deals going on. Every week they've got something different. So you usually can't go wrong. But also grocery stores like Aldi's, even Walmart, tons of gluten-free options, Publix, of course Whole Foods, of course Trader Joe's, of course Sprouts. There are tons and tons of options everywhere. However, if you go into the big stores, you can feel like you're getting lost. So that's why I really recommend Kroger as the best place to start first, because you can keep it in that short little section. Also, Google is your friend. So take a few minutes whenever you've got some free time and just Google great gluten-free brands, gluten-free recipes, gluten-free crackers, gluten-free cereals, whatever it is that you want to find a gluten-free option for, Google can definitely help you out. So the last thing I want you to do is, it's so common and it's so normal that the moment you're told, be it your test results, by the nurse practitioner, by your well coach, by any component within your life, the moment you're told you can't, well, then you want to, right? The moment you're told you can't have this, all of a sudden you become hyper-focused on that thing that you can't have. And it's as if we close down all of the options of everything that we can have. So I want to personally invite you to just shift your brain out of can't to can. So instead of focusing on wheat, barley, and rye and oats, start to focus on corn and quinoa and rice and potatoes and veggies and fruits and fish and beans and so many delicious, delicious, yummy treats out there. This picture I have, these muffins are gluten-free and they're delicious and they're amazing. There are so many things out there. So I want you to begin to really download the shopping list that I've created for you as part of this course and just look at all of those offerings and all of those options. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty visual as a learner. So whenever I need some inspiration when it comes to really making the gluten-free switch, I always go onto Google, and then that usually takes me to Pinterest or some of the top sites, and I just take a few minutes and I look at delicious recipes. I look at pictures and I go, oh my gosh, there really is a ton of amazing, healthy options for me. So in the moments when you're feeling limited, in the moments that you're feeling like, oh, this is a pain in my butt, and how am I going to do this? Just take a breath. And remember, your health, your quality of life depends on it. So just go to Google and begin to search, begin to see, begin to look. Download the shopping list here. The resources are there for you to simplify this process so that you can truly feel good about making the shift and realizing it's not as hard as you think. So you are among many, and there's so many more resources out there. It's easier now than it's ever been. But if you're still unsure and you still have questions, we're here for you. At Optimum Health, we're your team. We're your support team to help you get well. So make sure you do download the gluten-free guide and the gluten-free shopping list that come with this class so you've got that immediate go-to resource. Ask your Optimum Health coach or your nurse practitioner or your care provider about the elimination diet or possibly going through a detox if you haven't done that already. You want to make sure that you ask and find out about our next healthy shopping tour and our gluten-free classes, our live demonstrations, because we do those at least once a month so you can get that interactive on-site experience. And of course, you want to make sure that you don't guess at your health. So make sure that you get tested. Make sure that you're coming back in to really know the facts, to know what's going on in your body, because we don't want to just kiss the boo-boo. We want to treat those root causes. And believe it or not, gluten is a pretty powerful component in the root causes. So when we begin to take that out, well, now your body, it reduces and eliminates a stress. So now your body can begin to repair, to restore itself, and to heal. And why does that matter? Well, that lets you get back to feeling like you again. So listen, as always, I love getting to have this time with you. It's been an honor to truly share this journey with you. If you've got questions, we're here because our focus is you. So until next time, go download, continue to look at those labels, continue to focus on all of the amazing gluten-free foods that are out there for you to enjoy. And until next time, I'm Dr. Melissa. I want you to go continue to stay amazing.